You've heard these words before. They sound harmless, sometimes even sweet, but deep down they left you questioning yourself. Female narcissists don't always control you by shouting or fighting. Instead, they use subtle phrases, said with a smile, that slowly break down your confidence and twist your reality. These aren't just words, they're weapons. And the most dangerous part? You often don't realize what's happening until it's too late. In this video, you'll uncover the 10 toxic phrases female narcissists always use to control, confuse, and keep you hooked. Make sure you watch until the end, because once you recognize these phrases, you'll never fall for them again. If you've ever felt drained or manipulated by someone's words, hit subscribe now, because understanding the language of narcissists is the first step to taking your power back. You're overreacting. This is one of the most common and toxic phrases female narcissists use, and it cuts deeper than you think. On the surface, it sounds dismissive, but underneath, it's designed to make you doubt your own feelings. Every time you express hurt, frustration, or even just a boundary, she can brush it off with those two words: you're overreacting. Suddenly, you go from defending yourself to questioning yourself. Was I really too sensitive? Did I imagine the insult? Psychologically, this is classic gaslighting. It minimizes your emotions and reframes them as irrational or exaggerated, making her look calm and rational while you appear unstable. Over time, this tiny phrase conditions you to silence yourself. You stop speaking up because you don't want to be labeled dramatic or emotional. And that silence gives her more control. Once you recognize this phrase for what it is, a tactic to shut you down, you can stop defending your reaction and start holding your ground. If you really loved me, you would. This phrase is one of the most manipulative tools a female narcissist uses because it disguises control as love. On the surface, it sounds like a test of devotion, but underneath, it's a guilt trip designed to bend you to her will. Anytime you hesitate, set a boundary, or even just need space, she can throw this line at you, making it seem like your refusal means you don't care. Psychologically, this tactic weaponizes your empathy. Most people in relationships want to prove their love and commitment, so when she frames compliance as the proof of your love, you're pressured to give in. Over time, this conditioning makes you sacrifice your needs, values, and even self-respect just to avoid being accused of not loving enough. But real love isn't a bargaining chip. It's not about performing tasks to earn approval. The moment you hear this phrase, you need to recognize it for what it is: emotional blackmail, wrapped in the language of affection. You're too sensitive? This phrase is one of the most classic weapons in the female narcissist's arsenal, and it cuts directly at your self-worth. Anytime you call out disrespect, unfair treatment, or manipulation, she can flip it back on you with, "You're too sensitive." On the surface, it sounds like feedback, but in reality, it's a way to invalidate your emotions and shift the focus off her behavior. Instead of addressing the harm she caused, she makes you question whether your feelings are legitimate in the first place. Psychologically, this tactic works because it strikes at the core of your confidence. Nobody wants to be seen as overly fragile or dramatic, so you start second-guessing yourself. Am I really making a big deal out of nothing? Over time, this erodes your trust in your own perceptions. You may even stop speaking up altogether, giving her more freedom to push boundaries unchecked. But here's the truth: sensitivity is not weakness. It's awareness. When someone tries to use this phrase against you, it's not about your sensitivity. It's about their refusal to take responsibility. No one else would put up with you. This phrase is pure psychological warfare, and female narcissists use it to trap you in self-doubt. On the surface, it sounds like a harsh opinion, but at its core, it's a weapon meant to isolate you. By saying that no one else would tolerate you, she plants the belief that she's your only option, that you're somehow too difficult, too flawed, or too unworthy for anyone else to accept. This isn't just an insult, it's a strategy to keep you dependent. Psychologically, this tactic is devastating because it exploits your fear of abandonment. Most people want to feel chosen and valued in their relationships, and when someone convinces you that you're lucky, they're even putting up with you, you start to cling tighter instead of walking away. It flips the script so you're fighting to keep the connection instead of seeing the disrespect clearly. But here's the reality. Anyone who uses this phrase is projecting their own toxicity onto you. A healthy partner lifts you up. They don't convince you that you're unlovable without them. You'll never find anyone better than me. This phrase is one of the most poisonous tools in a female narcissist's playbook because it's designed to lock you into a cycle of dependency. On the surface, it sounds like arrogance, but its real power lies in how it attacks your self-esteem. By insisting that she's the best you'll ever have, she plants doubt in your mind about your own value, making you afraid to leave. The message underneath is clear. You're not worthy of anything greater. Psychologically, this tactic works because it combines fear with scarcity. Fear of being alone, fear of not being loved again, and the false belief that she's the top option you'll ever get. This makes you cling to the relationship, even if it's toxic, because walking away feels like losing something irreplaceable. Over time, this conditioning convinces you that tolerating disrespect is safer than starting over. But the truth is, this phrase is never about your worth. It's about her insecurity. People who are truly the best don't need to remind you of it. Their actions prove it. You made me do this. This phrase is one of the most manipulative tricks female narcissists use because it shifts all responsibility for her actions onto you. Instead of owning her choices, she frames them as your fault. If she yells, lies, or even cheats, she'll say, "You made me do this." The hidden message is that her bad behavior isn't really her fault, it's yours. That keeps you stuck in a cycle of guilt, constantly wondering what you could have done differently to prevent it. Psychologically, this is called blame shifting, and it's devastating because it erodes your sense of agency. You start to believe you're the one causing her explosions, her manipulation, her coldness. Over time, you feel like you're walking on eggshells, adjusting every move just to avoid triggering another outburst. But the truth is, her behavior is a choice, and no one can make her mistreat you. This phrase is nothing more than a way to dodge accountability and keep you trapped in shame. The moment you stop accepting it, her power over you begins to crumble. Everyone thinks you're the problem. This phrase is one of the cruelest weapons female narcissists use, because it doesn't just isolate you from her. It isolates you from everyone else too. By claiming that everyone sees you as the issue, she piles on social pressure and shame. Suddenly, you're not just dealing with her disapproval. You feel like the world is against you. This creates a powerful fear of abandonment, making you desperate to fix things so you don't feel completely alone. Psychologically, this tactic works because humans are wired to seek belonging and avoid rejection. When she convinces you that friends, family, or even coworkers see you as the problem, you start to doubt your own reputation and self-worth. You may even try harder to please her, hoping it will change the narrative. But the truth is, everyone is rarely involved. This is just her projection. She's using the idea of collective judgment to silence you and keep you dependent. The moment you realize that this everyone doesn't actually exist, the spell starts to break. You'll regret losing me. This phrase is the final hook female narcissists use to keep you tied to them. On the surface, it sounds like a warning. But underneath, it's a desperate attempt to make you fear life without them. By saying, "You'll regret losing me," she flips the script, making it seem like she is the prize, the best you'll ever have, and that walking away would be your biggest mistake. The goal is to plant doubt in your mind, making you second-guess your decision to pull back or leave. Psychologically, this taps into fear of regret and fear of loneliness. Humans naturally avoid the idea of making choices they'll later regret, and she uses that against you. By framing herself as irreplaceable, she makes you hesitate to end the relationship, even when it's toxic. But here's the truth. If someone truly valued you, they wouldn't need to scare you into staying. Love doesn't need ultimatums. This phrase isn't about your future regret. It's about her fear of losing control. Once you see it for what it really is, you'll stop doubting yourself and start realizing she was never the one you couldn't live without. Now you've seen the 10 phrases female narcissists use to control, confuse, and break people down. These aren't just casual words, they're weapons designed to twist your reality and keep you stuck. But the moment you start recognizing them for what they are, the power shifts back to you. You stop absorbing the blame, the guilt, and the doubt, and you begin to see the manipulation for what it really is, a strategy to keep control. If this video resonated with you, hit subscribe and come back for more deep dives into narcissistic abuse, toxic psychology, and healing, and I'd love to hear from you. Which of these toxic phrases have you heard the most? And how did it make you feel when you realized it was manipulation? Share your experience in the comments, because your story might help someone else break free too.